Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be showing you what I packed for the market that I went to this weekend. So I've had to put my daylight lamp on just because the lighting is a little bit low and it's a bit dark in here. So I'm hoping it's not too bright for you guys. If you're wondering, I am wearing the same outfit as one of my previous videos because I am filming these all in one day. But I've got everything here in Amazon boxes. So these are the two boxes I took. And we're just going to be going through everything that I took with me, and obviously you can follow along this video and write a little tick list if you want to, that might be helpful, and then you'll have just a list of everything you need basically. So if you do like this video, then please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe and hit that bell for more market content, because there's a couple of videos relating to markets coming up and also my usual baking content. So yes, I am going to get right into it. There's quite a lot to get through today. So I'm literally just going to make my way through these boxes because it wasn't packed very well. We packed it all in a rush when we were leaving, so there's quite a lot of just random bits and random boxes. But obviously when you do go to an event, make sure you pack it properly. It was packed nicely on the way there, but not so much on the way back. So the first thing I took is this tablecloth. So this is a tablecloth that my mum and my sister made. So my mum sewed it on there, and it says Sweet Things by Amy, and it is like a patchwork applique tablecloth. Obviously you do not have to make a special tablecloth, but a tablecloth is your number one, because usually the tables that they either provide to you at markets or you take with you, they're not the most glamorous, so it is nice to put a nice tablecloth on there. It also helps with any mess. It just, yeah, it gives it a nice finish. Then we have aprons. So I took my one that I was made for my birthday, which is this one. It's got a nice little trim around it. My mum made this one. It's got my logo at the top. So I took that one. We took quite a few because I wasn't sure how many we needed. Then my sister wore this one, which is my other Sweet Things by Amy one. And then I took a couple more. They're a bit lower in the boxes, so we'll get to those later. But you want everyone to have an apron just in case you need to be a bit more hands-on. If it is just you, then obviously just take one. I would recommend taking someone with you because they can sometimes get really busy. And there was points where even me and my sister were struggling because there were so many people. So the next things we took were these little posters. So I made these, and I mentioned them in my preparation vlog, I think. But I made these, and then my mum has a laminator, so we did it all on there. But it is just a little poster. So this is Etsy postals, and then there's also this one. So this is A4, this is A5, and this has all my trays on it. And then this one has individual brownies. So it basically just has all my details. It says that I post on Mondays and Wednesdays, and it has all my like Instagram links, my email and my Etsy on the bottom so that people can take a photo if they want to. So that was the brownies one, and then I also did a cake one, so it just shows all the cakes that I've made, like my kind of favourite ones are on there, and it's got wedding and occasion cakes. It says that you can choose a variety of flavours, styles, all that kind of thing, and then how to get in touch with me again. So it just means that if someone stood there waiting in a queue, because there was sometimes a queue, then they can have a little look and they can go, oh, she offers cakes. And that was kind of what people were doing. We had them at the end of the table where people were waiting to either pay or waiting for their like boxes of treats, and then they would tend to look down, see it, and then ask questions about it. So those are a really good way of advertising your bakes. Then number one, I think, is business cards. So I get mine from Vistaprint. So there's probably loads of places you can get them from, but I've always got mine from Vistaprint. I never think they're crazy expensive from there. If anything, they're quite a good deal. So these are just mine. So it's just got my logo on the front, and I designed the background. Then it's just got my Facebook, my email, my Instagram, and then just thank you for your order. So I was giving people those and saying like, if you want to check out my Etsy shop, my Etsy isn't on there, but if you go onto my Instagram you'll find it. So I said, oh, I'm popping a card in there just because I do postal orders and it gives you an excuse to mention it. So I did it that way, and I just put one in with every order, and then yeah, there's quite a few gone. There was a lot more in there when I took it there, because I put them in with cakes and things, but not too often, because the person that is ordering from me usually has me on Facebook and Instagram, so I don't necessarily need to give them one because it's probably just going to get thrown away. I would more so give it to if someone is having, say, a cake where there's going to be lots of different people there, then someone might take it, but not if it's like a small order for someone directly. Then another number one item is a card machine. So this is my sister's, and it is the Sum Up. I don't know if you can see because it's a little bit maybe there. So this is the machine. So what you do is you connect it to your phone and you have the app, and on your phone you type in the amount that you want to charge, you press charge, you press card reader, then it will come up on here, and then they just tap their card, insert it, whatever they want to do, and then that's it. And then it will come up on your phone and say transaction complete or transaction failed, and it's as easy as that. It is a online card machine, so it means if the Wi-Fi is bad it can be temperamental. We had maybe like 3 or 4 out of maybe like, you know, over 50 where people, it was taking a little long and people were like, oh, I can pay by cash if that's easier, and luckily we could like accommodate that. But it wasn't like too much of a pain, I don't think. I'd definitely get a second one because it was temperamental in the fact that it wouldn't last very long. When it got to the next customer it would be working again after someone's just like paid with cash instead. So I'd get a second one so that if there are any issues then you can just move to the second one. Then we took some wipes because obviously if you're giving like kids samples of stuff then they can wipe their faces because, you know, kids get very messy, so it's useful to have these to just offer out if people need them. Then I took some cling film because if you want to wrap anything up, if it's raining, if it's outside, it's good to have some way of covering your bakes. Then I took some hand gel because obviously COVID, I wanted to make sure that people were able to hand sanitize their hands as well as us. So it just meant that it was available if people needed it. Then I took this little box. I didn't need these at all. I did not need coppers. I don't know why I thought I needed coppers. But I had a little box of just change. I feel like you want a box of change. And then I could put in these order forms. So I'll show you an example of what we did. So I've got 2 times £1, which is the cake pops, and then 2 times £2.50 and 2 times £1. And then I could just tally it up. So the next thing I'd recommend is more wipes. So these are more for appliances. So obviously the other ones can be used on people's like faces or hands, but these are not for that. So if you needed to wipe any knives and stuff like that, then these are good for that. Then I'm going to save these because there are more of them. They're a bit lower in the box. I took some clips to clip the tablecloth down just in case it was a bit windy. More clips for the tablecloth. Then we have knives, which I need to wash because they've been left in this box since the market. But knives, so we took 3 different ones, one for the vegan, one for blondies and one for brownies, so that we had a little range. I took a notepad just in case we needed to write anything down. Then I took another tablecloth, which we did end up using because we took an extra table. So we were given a table and a chair, but we took our own table and chair, which I'm glad we did because we definitely needed the second table because in the beginning we had a lot of stuff to sell, and also because we had 2 chairs it meant that my sister and my mum could both sit down. I wasn't worried about sitting down, but it meant they could both sit down in little quiet spurts and be like comfortable. Then I took a load of tea towels, which we didn't end up needing, but it's always good if there's any spillages or anything, take some tea towels. Then I took a few more aprons because I wasn't sure if my mum would need an apron if she was going to have to help us at any point. I took some tongs, but I would recommend just using gloves. So we just wore gloves for the whole day instead of using tongs because these can be a bit fiddly. So yeah, we took them just in case we maybe ran out of gloves because you do have to change them regularly. So we took those just in case, but we didn't end up using them. Then allergen stickers. So on these little cards that I have, I do write the allergens at the bottom, as you can see, but I thought that if someone's buying a big box and I know they're taking it home, then I'll put an allergen sticker on there just in case. But most people were either eating it there or took it in a bag, like a small bag, so it was just like one item, so I didn't bother, because as long as you're displaying it on here, on your cards at the point of sale, then it's fine. So that's everything from the first box. Then we have the bigger box. So that is just the lid to my other box. This is one thing that we didn't take, which I would recommend taking, is a whiteboard or like a corkboard, anything like that. So we forgot, and we ended up writing on the bottom of a cupcake box our offer. So when we said that everything was £1, I got my sister to walk around with this, and she was just saying like everything £1 over there. So then people ended up coming, like some people ran over to get stuff for £1, because obviously as soon as it's gone, it's gone. But yeah, so she had that little sign. These food bags were really, really good. A couple of them are a little crumpled, so I'm just gonna try and like undo that. So I think I got 500 of these. So they're just brown paper bags, and they're all on like a string, and then you just tear them off. So they're all together, so now they'll stay together, and then obviously when I go to the next one I can rip them off. But they were really, really good. I individually packed everything because like if people were buying vegan stuff, they said like I want it in a separate bag because the person that it's for is a bit like fiddly about that kind of thing, which I completely understand. So it means that you can put stuff in separate bags, whereas if you're doing it in boxes you can't necessarily do that. Then I took one of these. This was for the vegan stuff. I just lined it with tissue paper, like kitchen towel, that kind of thing. And then I had a variety of chopping boards, which is definitely essential. Because we chopped at the show, it meant that we could all chop at the same time, like chopping up brownies. So we had another board, and then there is a third one. Then we had another one. This was actually a display one because it's quite a nice board. Then these are the food order books that we used. So if you want to know where these are from, then let me know down below, because I do have the link. I'll have to find it on eBay, so if you want to know, let me know. But these were really good. So we used like both order books, so some of them have got pages taken out. But they were really, really helpful for just like tallying up. If you do have to make people wait, if you have to prepare food in any way, then it does have a little order number, so you can tear this bit off at the bottom. You can tear that off, and then you can keep the main receipt. So it means that if people have to wait, then you can just call out their number, stuff like that. I took some baking paper, like parchment paper, just because again it's useful if you need it. I took some of these nets, which are useful to cover things. So if it was raining or if there were flies, then it's always useful. I took my order book just in case, because there were a couple of people that asked like, do you do celebration cakes? I thought I'll take it just in case someone wants to inquire about something, then I can just like note it down. Then I took these thank you stickers. I didn't end up using them, but I thought if I needed to seal any bags or if I just wanted to put them on a bag, then I can, but I kind of forgot about them. It was way too busy. These are the other cards that I made. So I made these, I typed them out, and then I used coloured pens to do the dots, and then I just laminated them. So it just says like vegan Oreo brownies, the price, allergens, and then it's got some little dots around the edge for colours. So you can literally make those yourself, and I'm going to keep them because it's likely I'll do similar flavours, because quite a lot of the flavours were very popular. This is the bottom of a cupcake case, so this was useful for carrying. I don't have the lid, it's in the kitchen, but that's what I used to carry the cupcakes. We had 2 of them in 12 cupcake boxes, if I can get them out. So I took some small cupcake boxes, some just 4s, and then I took some 12s as well, because I thought if people do large orders, someone bought like 9 items, so I put them all in here, so it was good to take those. You have to prove that you're a business and you have like your hygiene and everything. They didn't ask for it. I did prove it when I initially applied, so they obviously already knew, but I took it just in case. So it's got my this is my registration, so this is what they filled out when they did my inspection, and then I've got my insurance, and then I have my level 2 hygiene and my allergen. So I just took those with me just in case, because you don't know how strict they are. Obviously if your market that you're going to is a little more strict, then they might ask for all of that on arrival, whereas mine didn't, but they had seen it before. Another net, some labels just in case you need to write anything on orders. Post-it notes, really helpful, because yeah, if you do need to write anything down, then it is useful, even if it's just like people's orders. Loads of pens. I've got loads and loads of pens in here. I took some 2 cupcake boxes. I probably didn't need those. Luckily, because my icing was so set, my icing always is a little bit stiff when I do it, but it means that it's not, it like softens when you actually eat it, but it means that it holds its shape. So I could put them in those paper bags, these, and it didn't like smudge the icing or anything. So I actually ended up using those instead of like cupcake boxes, which was good. This was, I don't know why I took this. I took a little spoon. So I think that is everything by the looks of it. These are what I carried them in. So these are the trays that I housed all of my treats in. So this was a good amount for what I had. I had a few boards, but this was like a reasonable amount. So these are from IKEA. One of them is cut into 2 pieces, but this is like the standard size, and then this as well, and then the other one's cut to size, so it doesn't like actually come that size, but those are the 2 like sizes that I got, and they were really good. Because I had cake pops as well, I could put the cake pops in these smaller sections, which worked really well. But yeah, they were presented really nicely, they looked really good, so I was really happy with how they looked and everything. So yeah, I'm happy with those. I can't think of anything else that I took that I have forgotten, so I think that is everything. I wanted to quickly mention, because I did mention to someone in a comment that I would mention this, so if you are still watching, fingers crossed, but they asked like how they would apply for a market, so I am going to do a separate video on this, but I wanted to mention it in a little bit of detail. So basically you file an application. So for this particular event they wanted an application form. It asks you things like, do you need power? Obviously none of my food is heated, so I don't need power, and it also doesn't need to be chilled. And then they also asked whether I have my level 2 food hygiene certificate, which I do. So you need to have that, and you also need to be a registered business, because obviously if you make someone ill, I mean there was almost 4,000 people at this event, so if you make any of them ill, it doesn't matter how many, that is quite a big problem. So you need to make sure that you're insured. So I had to up my insurance to 5 million for just the event, and then I've ended up keeping it because I'm probably going to do more events, and it's only about £5 a month difference, so it's really worth it. But yeah, there's quite a few things that you have to consider, because obviously allergens are a serious thing. So if someone does get ill, anything like that, or even if there's an accident at the event, even if it's not food related, like even if you injure yourself in some way, then yeah, you need to be a registered business, because anything could go wrong, you don't know. So someone was asking about kind of the application process. So once you've filled out that form, then it goes back and they approve it. I'm not quite sure how this works. So there was only me baking on the Saturday, and on the Sunday it was different types of bakers. So like someone that makes cupcakes and brownies, and then someone that makes cookies. So I'm not sure if they vet it so that there aren't multiple of the same thing. I don't know if that's why they get you to do a application, so that they can make sure they haven't got 20 bakers there, because then one of them might do really well and all the rest might do terribly because there's too many of it, like it's too saturated. So I think that's how they do it. They get you to apply and then they can narrow down the options and say, right, we want one of this person, one of this type of business. And then they came back, approved it. They sent me a confirmation with the bank details, so I had to transfer 50% up front, and then they didn't actually tell me when to do the other 50%, so I actually literally just paid it today, which is after the event, because one, I completely forgot, and two, I wasn't given like a date. They just kind of said, right, pay the deposit, and that was it. So I didn't know whether I was meant to pay it on the day, and then that didn't happen. And then I was meaning to transfer it and I was just way too busy. So yeah, but at least that's done. So other places might be different in terms of like when you have to pay, but they said 50% up front, and then the other 50% I think was just by the date. Yeah, they didn't specify, but some places might. Yeah, it ended up working out really, really well. But I think that is everything in terms of the application. I'm going to go into more detail in the video that I do tomorrow, I think, but I thought I would just brush over it today just to kind of answer that question. But if you want me to answer any more in regards to the market, I'm happy to do like a Q&A or just answer the questions if you have them, because I know that quite a lot of people might be wondering about it and like unsure whether to do it themselves. So yes, I hope this was helpful, knowing what I took with me. If you want to know where anything is from, again, let me know down below, because I can just put the links in for anything, I don't mind, or like tell you the website I got it from. So yes, I think that's everything. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy it, then please like and subscribe and hit the bell for more baking content, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!